What was that?
The landlord, he didn't give you a hard time yet?
No, no, they did give me the first.
Oh,
So
God
because I
forbid they give you a little leeway.
I know, right? I mean, it's only been, since September that I've been paying and, haven't been able to use the place. So
I'm glad they did that for you.
yeah, I think I'm gonna get them for another week though. At least I'm gonna try to, only because this weekend was the weekend that I was supposed to move the majority of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the week, I was going to move like boxes here and there by myself. But if I have to send my car in with my husband, then that's not going to happen. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna,
if you think about it, they're not going to move someone in there tomorrow. Like
no,
they probably have no one in mind right now to even go in there.
no. And even if they had anybody who wanted a store, they have they have like 7 open spots.
Right.
So
Plus, they need to fix where you're at, right? The windows or
mhm.
something.
Yeah,
We're
they'll have to fix it.
we're
Nobody,
live.
nobody will move in like that.
Oh, hey, we're live. Hey.
Hey, yeah, I'm just looking at this thing here. Okay, let me see something. Um, I haven't seen any of the news or something. I know there was another thing. I don't know what's going on with the Beckham. Anybody follow the Beckhams? It's constant. I don't follow them, so I have no idea.
Isn't that one of the Spice Girls and
Yeah,
the
I
soccer
guess.
player?
Yeah, but I don't know. Every minute I turn around, there's like another headline, but it means nothing to me because I don't even know who they are. I mean, I know who they are, like just, but I don't know who Brooklyn Beckham is or any of them.
I think that's one of the kids, one
Yeah,
of their
but I
kids.
don't know. They're looking like, oh my gosh, there's such a controversy. Like I don't know what the heck. But I think everything is about this storm that's going on because beyond the stuff at the protest that's been going on, I don't see. It almost looks like they're hard up for stories. They're going back like on Susan Smith or her like it's just like, but just not that there's anything new with Susan Smith, and they're doing Chris Watts, and not that there's anything new with Chris Watts, but they're just like trying to recycle stuff. So it seems like they're all hard up for news. I don't know what the heck is going on.
You see, and it's funny because I like sometimes I'll go backwards to older cases,
Mm-hmm.
but um like the Chris Watts case, all I all I really remembered of the Chris Watts case was, the husband did this to his family.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Right.
That was all I knew. That was absolutely all I knew, all I had heard back then, and that was it. So I have like gone backwards and started watching things
Yeah,
about
but you
Chris
better
Watts.
watch the right things because so much of it is
That's
lies.
that's exactly it. That is exactly my thing. So I mean, I can tell you probably like this past week,
Yep.
I have I've literally gone through so much of the Chris Watts stuff. And, like of course, my basic is, the police interviews and stuff like
If
that.
you want those, they're
But
on this channel.
yeah, I mean,
I have all of that. Everything is
it is
factual.
it is absolutely honestly, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, like literally tonight, while my husband and I were eating dinner, um, I had one playing,
You had what?
and I had something
Oh,
playing
oh,
about
playing.
the Chris Watts, and it was, I don't remember what channel it was on YouTube, but it was only a couple of the the woman that he was with that he was having an affair with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only a little bit of like her interview. And like I looked at my husband, and he looked at me like, what's wrong with her? You know? Because honestly, in my opinion, there was something up with her. She seems a little shady to me. Even more
Well,
so with
yeah,
like,
yes, but like, okay, like I said, and you know, Sandy is my good friend, right? And she's
yes.
an Italian mother, and I'm going to tell you that she asked them over and over, is she any way involved? And and Sandy said that on this channel, and they said, no, we've gone over everything with a fine tooth comb. She is not involved in the murders. She is not involved. She a catalyst, yeah, for maybe why he did this, but he acted alone. Now, I do believe, and I told Sandy, I think had Nicole Atkinson not got, well, I think the whole thing that screwed Chris Watts up is he didn't know she changed the code of her phone. And he wasn't smart enough to think, because I think he would have gone on there and put a message saying, I'm not feeling good, I want to be alone, so none of her friends would have called, but she changed the code on her phone. So he just shut
Mm.
it off and put it under the couch cushion. And then when Nicole and other friends couldn't get a hold of her, they went to the house, and then they got him to come home from work, and then he was blown up then. Okay?
Yeah,
So he
I
never
had
got to
seen.
clean up, he never got to finish.
Hmm.
He got caught, with his pants down, whatever you want to say, but she had Jim fly in and he left that afternoon. I think when he got home from work, either Jim or both of them would have helped him clean stuff up. But that didn't happen. So you can't hold her accountable for that. And that's the thing that Sandy said. She's like, do you think that they would ever tell me, oh, look, Sandy, yeah, she had something to do with it, but we're just going to let her go, okay? No way. So that's what she's saying. If you want to cover the Chris Watts case, cover it factually, okay? There's nothing with Nicole. There was no plea deal. There was no immunity deal. There was nothing like that with her. And yet, like last night, I got furious because I see this guy, and then he's connected to like 3 other channels, and they're all lying, and they know they're lying. But the one guy is like crying, and you can tell, like, he does a video on something else, he doesn't get any views. He does a video telling you that NK is going to be arrested any minute. He's got thousands of views. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to go right back to the NK. And that's what he does because it's easy money for them. And then they have all these women that have been wronged, okay? And this is like that targeted harassment. They put the target on NK, okay? And I'm not saying she's in, believe me, there's no love lost there with me, okay? But what I'm trying to say is they have their pitchforks, but it's not even because of her. It's because of their own trauma that's unresolved. They can't resolve it. And these guys, most of them are guys, but some of them are women, know how to play on that. And they tell them things like she's going to be arrested. Guys, we just got to get this. And then these people throw money at these creators like
Hmm.
crazy.
Oh, I agree with you.
And
I
they
just I
just
was
eat it up.
watching her interviews like when they brought her into the police station. And honestly, she just didn't seem.
No. Go watch them on my channel. You'll hear. I don't think she's okay. We don't. There's no love loss, is what I'm telling you. Yes, she has a. I do believe she would have done things after the fact. Okay. Do I think she was a catalyst? 100%. She wanted first with him. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's
yes,
exactly what I got.
she's
That
a
is exactly
catalyst.
what I got out of
Exactly.
it.
And she looked up
Yeah.
Shanann before this. She knew all about Shanann. So She's no angel in my book. Okay, she's
Isn't
not.
that
She's not Scott Peterson's fiance who didn't know anything. Okay, she's not that person. But there's nothing that ties her to the murder. Nothing.
Now they, you see, and that's why I watch so many different things. But they had mentioned something about her, uh, possibly one of her parents' vehicles being in front of the house. But then, like, it had
That's
said that
yeah.
she was
That's all.
at the
That's
house
all. Okay.
twice.
Listen. Let me tell you something else. Okay. There was somebody else that was on YouTube. He ended up having like 3 channels. He ended up really tormenting the family. There was a lawsuit with him. He was terminated from YouTube because of certain things, and he did the same thing. He kept saying, and here's what they say: we just want justice for Shanann and the kids. Like, do you think her family didn't want that? Do you
Oh,
think they would
absolutely.
let anything go that I mean, that's what's so stupid. And the
No,
Gonsalveses are
no,
saying the same thing. Kaylee
no.
Gonsalves's parents are saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, knowing Sandy from the little bit that I do know of her, she wouldn't let anything go.
Nothing.
There would be
Absolutely
no stone
nothing.
unturned,
Exactly.
you
It's
know.
exactly what she said. And she told me to
So
say it, and she said it here on her own. And she said, if you want to watch facts, here, watch Carolyn's channel. Carolyn's channel has the facts. Yeah, I have every interview with Nicole Kessinger. I have every interview with Chris Watts, with all of his friends. I have all of it here. But you're not going to get a bunch of crap. I'm not going to tell you there's a billboard being put up and she's going to be arrested because there was a guy named Larry that did that. He collected a lot of money for that. He was a politician up in New York State. And I called him out. He came in here like a lunatic, calling me all kinds of names. And guess what? He had to come with his tail between his legs and say he had no friend that was an insider at the DA's office, and he hightailed it off here in embarrassment. And
good.
now I see another guy doing the billboard again. Like it's ridiculous, and people are eating it up like you can't believe.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been listening and watching, and I'm like, you know, it's amazing how many different scenarios and
Yeah, but there
lies.
aren't. But there's not. The person that did this is in prison.
No, no, I'm saying, like, before he finally, said, okay, I did it, like
But he
first it
said that
was,
with Megan. He said that in 2 days. Chris
it
Watts
was
was
only 2 days.
arrested. He was arrested 2 days later. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
Yes.
it was first it was, she went to a play date,
Right.
then it was,
Yes. And then he went
you
down to the
know,
police station, and then they interrogated him, and then they went back and they let him stay the first night at the house. And the crazy thing is, they called him at 2 a.m. in the morning to ask him if Shanann or the kids had any birthmarks or scars or anything to identify them. And if your whole family was missing, and you got a call at 2 a.m. from the police, what would your first thought be? Oh my
oh yeah.
gosh, have you found my family? Right?
Hmm.
Hey, his first thought, hi, how are ya? How's it going? That's how he was. Not have you found my family? Nothing. And he sat in that interrogation room for hours. Like, most people would be jumping out of their skin, like, look, I got to get out there and look for my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've got to try to
exactly.
find them. I can't sit here like this.
Hmm.
He was calm, eating pizza, you know, not a care in the
Oh,
world. He wasn't antsy. It's like, no.
no, I mean, like, my husband was watching it with me, and, he's sitting there saying, I would never hurt these two beautiful little girls. I would never hurt my beautiful wife. And I'm just like, I don't even understand how
No, but
anybody,
listen to what he said, though. He said, I would never hurt them with my hands. He said, I never hurt them with my hands. I would never. And then everything he said, you should watch my interviews. He reversed it. All you had to do is say the opposite, and he told you exactly what he did. He hurt them with his hands. He carried them out of the house. He just said the negative of everything. I didn't hurt them with my hands. I didn't take them out of the house. And it said what he did. And he said
Yeah.
he was, he loaded that truck so calmly. He wasn't in any rage or anything. He wasn't in any rage when he came back to the house. And the only thing,
He wasn't even upset in while being interrogated, you
no,
know,
he thought they
until
really liked
yeah.
him.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand, you know, I'm like, how, you know, and I mean, I sat and I, you know, saw the video of her singing about her dad and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I see videos of him wearing super dad t-shirt and I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't understand how somebody, there's just nothing in there. Like he's so unaffected
Well, he's
and
right.
there's nothing in there.
He's a sociopath, a psychopath that does not feel emotion. That's why he put into the computer, how do you feel when someone tells you they love you? Because he has to mimic.
I didn't know that part. I did not know that
You
part.
should be watching the videos on this
Oh my
channel.
gosh. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go back because I did not know that part. Like I said, I've been watching probably for about the past week. And, you know, my husband was like, he's like, I'm very, like tonight, he turned around, he said that that is somebody that I would not mind and would not lose any sleep over beating them to death. And he's like, I would just ice my hands and go to sleep at night. He's like, I can't even believe this. He's like, I just can't believe this. I'm like, trust me. I'm like, you can't believe it? I'm like, I can't believe it because, like I said, back then, I remember hearing about him and what he did to his family. And it was just, you know, I didn't even know that he was having an affair. It was just this guy did this to his family. And that was all I looked into. Like that was it. That was all I knew. And it was probably like on some newspaper or something. And I didn't look into it anymore. But this past week, I'm like, I just can't even. I'm like, you literally just sit and say to yourself, like, there is nothing up there, like absolutely nothing. And then to hear that he has a fan club.
They
What?
all, now listen to me. Every single murderer has a fan club.
Oh
It's a disorder that people have where they want someone that's in prison. Yeah, you
I
go look
just
it up. There's a woman up by me that wrote a book about it right about the time of the Chris Watts case. It's a disorder. It's a psychiatric disorder.
I would not even honestly like I could probably write a book on many things, but that's probably something that I would never even be able to comprehend
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
in order to write a book
They get
about.
fan mail like the women and Susan Smith, Gypsy Rose. Yeah, they all get fan mail because there's some kind of a certain kind of celebrity status that's attributed to it. Plus, they think like, oh, I always know where they are. They need me. They need me to put money on their commissary, and they like that.
That is crazy. That is just the craziest thing.
Yeah, well,
I
they
mean,
all get mail, and
yeah.
people wanting to be with them, wanting to save them, wanting to nurture them. Yep.
And I will go back and I will say that, you know, I did see some of the interviews of his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know what? I can see how it is that he grew up the way that he did and he ended up being how he is because his parents really aren't all that far behind. you know, like
No, his mother and
for,
father
for,
said that they went out and did an interview that made them look horrible, talking really bad about Shanann. And then the one she did by herself, she was like, well, almost like she could see that, if he killed Shanann,
yeah,
she could
yeah.
excuse that. And
It
then
was like
did you
good
see the phone
riddance. You know,
calls?
they were, I
Have
did
you?
not. No, no, I did not.
They're on my channel. Okay, you can see the parents are talking to him, and she says, "We don't care what you did, honey." Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to listen to those next because, like I said, I only saw the interview of the father after he told his father what he did, and his father wasn't even distraught.
No,
You know, I
right?
mean,
No,
like
his
I would,
father knew. His father had to have known before, because are you talking about when he went into the interrogation room with Chris?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. And he just
and
goes
then they
like
took
this,
the father.
like he goes, "What?" Like like you'd be like, "What? They're dead?"
Yes,
Like what? Like you'd be.
yes.
He had no
You did
reaction
what?
like that, and I understand shock and grief, and everybody, but it was his reaction was weird, and he already had stuff queued up on his phone, like to
Yes,
blame on Shanann, and yeah, he was already ready
I
with
saw
that.
that. I saw that when they took him by himself, the father by himself, into the interrogation room, and he had plugged in his phone,
My wife always
and
said she was a narcissist. My wife always said this. Yeah.
yeah, and she's you know she's bipolar, and she'll go from 0 to 60, and
Yeah, they were out there to
in a
slander her, and they
second.
slandered her in
And,
interviews and
and I'm like,
everything else.
and I'm thinking to myself, you just walked out of a room where your son said that he murdered her,
They didn't even go to
and this
Cece's
is what
third
you're saying.
birthday. They didn't even. They were in North Carolina, and they didn't even go to Cece's third birthday.
I'm like, I thought to myself, I can see like his parents, I can see exactly how it is that he turned out the way that he is because his parents are, he does no wrong at all. He did no wrong, even with hearing what he
He
did.
never
And like,
rebelled. He never rebelled, not even in high school.
yeah, right. I mean, like I turned around to my husband, I said, I'm very sorry. I'm like, but I, I would disown a child that I raised. And if they ever did something like this, I would forget. I would just, I'd be absolutely mortified at myself, knowing that, I raised this child and this is what they did.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what
And
you did, honey.
they were not, yeah, they were not concerned at all about what he did. Like it was okay. It was okay to do that. I'm like, that is just the craziest thing to me too.
Yeah.
So, but no, I didn't hear any phone calls or anything.
Yeah. Well,
So
I just
that'll
say
be,
caution you, because like last night I saw this, and then I saw like a bunch of crying. I'm getting death threats. Here's what they say: I'm getting death threats. We're getting too close to the truth here, guys. And then I saw the billboard up there again, and I said, "Oh my gosh, how can you be?" And then all this talk about God, and I'm thinking, like, come on now, you're lying to these people. Why are you doing this? Like, obviously, you're doing this for a reason, but it's like there's like a few channels, and they're all with the same thing here. And if you're on those channels, then you're going to be getting the wrong information, because that's all revolving around that D.A. Rourke is crooked. She got an immunity deal. She's been put in witness protection. Her father's a Mason, so she got special treatment. It's all fake. It's all
yeah,
false.
I did hear how she I think channel the one channel had to have been like a court channel that I was watching or something like that. But that she had filed to have her name changed, and she hasn't. And they believe that she moved from wherever it was that she was living, and
Right.
she hasn't been seen in like 7 years or something. So that was like the only thing that they had said about, where she is now, is she had her name changed and hasn't been seen. So
Yeah.
that was all I had gotten.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. But I just be careful where you're getting the information from, because it's just like Idaho 4. That's another thing now. The Gonsalves family put out another statement saying it's just they can't take it, like with this conspiracy stuff and the way they make stuff up just to keep it going.
Yeah, but we know many channels that do that, even more so with kids that are missing and stuff
But
like
but
that.
yeah, but see, but
It's like beating the dead horse, just for income.
right, but it's not okay. And
No, definitely not.
and they're trying to get laws passed about it because it's wrong. You want to talk about facts of a case, talk about facts of a case, but you don't get the liberty to just go on and pretend that you have insiders in the DA's office, that you have inside
Mhm.
information that NK's going to be arrested, and then you're collecting money saying that you're going to erect a billboard up, and we're getting close, guys, and I'm getting death threats because we're getting so close to the truth. So yeah, it's not okay. And the
No,
Gonsalves family, from what I heard, is going to be, well, they're talking about coming forward. But see, that's not even going to stop it, because Sandy and Frank did that too here, and said, please stop with the conspiracies, because I don't know if you know, Megan. I don't know how many summers ago it was, somebody that they had this whole, like, Watts Island it was called, and it was all these creators that were on that side that kept keeping it going. And somebody sent us the script. They were all in cahoots with each other, and they had a script for everybody about what was going to happen in the whole storyline. And it got sent to me, and I sent it on to Frank and Sandy, and they said, you know what? Let's blow this up. And I sat here. They said, would you please start a live and read it all out, blow this all up for them, because this is their whole summer of content. And so we went over every single storyline they were going to have on this case. And then Frank, Sandy, Frankie all said, stop it. Okay? You want to talk about the facts of the case, talk about it, but you can't just stop making this up. This is people's lives. This is not sitcoms or dramas. It's that, right. It's just horrendous, but yet it still goes on because they don't care. Money's the root of all
no,
evil. They're making money.
that's it.
They're going to
Money is
keep
the
doing
root of
it,
all evil.
right? And they're going to try to justify it and say that, no, we want justice for no, you don't. The person that did this is in prison.
Well, that's it. He did it, and he's where he should be. So, but it's like kicking a dead horse, like I said. I mean, it goes the same as far as missing children cases. If it drums up a very big audience, or you say, new information, or, you know, this is, could this be it? Then you're pulling everybody who was fully invested in that missing child into your YouTube channel just to go over, hypothetical.
No, it's not. It's
sit-
not even hypothetical. What they're saying, like with the Watts case, is that they know. It's like that guy Larry, and I just don't understand, because these people have been around and they saw what Larry did, and they saw Larry come on and say he lied, and yet they believe it again when somebody else says that they know this from the DA's office, and this is coming around, and we've got a private investigator, and he said this, and he said that, and this is happening. It's 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 baloney.
It's it's absolutely crazy. Like I said, I mean, even it was, I believe it was the Nancy Grace where she had the
But
woman who
Nancy
wrote the
Grace, can I tell you something? Nancy Grace
book.
didn't even know the facts of this case when she was on Dr. Phil. She didn't.
I believe that.
She did
I
not.
definitely believe that.
And she didn't. Nancy Grace
I,
didn't.
I've seen a couple of fumbles from that one, but
So, and I
even
mean,
with,
I usually, it's not that I dislike her, but I think she didn't, she wasn't briefed right, and she said things that weren't true. So,
even the one that I watched where she was talking to the woman author who
oh,
supposedly,
Sherilyn Cadle,
yeah, who supposedly, I think it was, she
she
supposedly had gotten,
plagiarized her book. Do you know
yeah,
that?
it was, no, I didn't. It was something about like Chris
Yeah,
Watts
she
letter or
plagiarized her
something.
book. And she, I believe, fed Chris all that crap that he said because he's very impressionable and he just takes that, just like how he took the stuff from Tammy, the
Yes,
CBI. Yeah, uh-huh.
yes,
He
I
ran
saw
with
that.
it.
That was
Ran with it.
that was that was real easy. That was real easy for him because it was like, okay, well, you know what? That's a good angle because I don't think that he really can think for himself.
No,
And
and
and that's
that was an easy way for him. Okay, and then see, now most investigators when they use something like that, then they just try to get a confession and then they work it back. And then that's why Tammy was saying, okay, well, let's clear Shanann's name. Now, she didn't do this, right? He wouldn't give that up for a while. And, but then he did. And, there's still people that are not on YouTube that are going on with the same narrative about like not believing that Chris did this. I mean, it's crazy.
and that's the weird thing. I don't understand how it is that people can actually think that, think that oh no, it wasn't him. Well, if it wasn't him, who was it?
Oh, it was
You
Sandy,
know?
me, and Frankie. I'm
Um,
not joking. That was actually one of the things that one of these channels that is no longer here said.
how in the world could they even spin that?
Yep,
I mean, that is the most ridiculous thing that
they
I've
said
ever
it.
heard. You know, that's absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
How in the world could somebody spin that?
Oh,
But
they can. Yeah.
gosh, I don't get it. But yeah, I mean that one I will tell you has absolutely blown my mind. And
Yeah, I'm just telling you, just make sure you're. I really wish you'd look here at the videos here because you know that those are factual. They're not telling you
do you
something.
have do you have a playlist of
Oh yeah,
Chris Watts? You do? Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna start there then
yeah.
because even with the Nancy Grace, I was like,
I
something
listen to me. I
right
have
here.
every single interview. I have all the interviews. I have tons of videos where I analyze them, but I have them in their entirety. I have his confession when they went up in March. I have everything here.
That's good. I'm gonna start with I'm gonna continue with your playlist because like I said, even like there were some things I didn't even finish watching the Nancy Grace because I said there's something wrong here. And honestly, I have seen a couple of fumbles there with her. So, but I'm gonna I'm glad that you have a playlist, so I don't
I
have to
have
go through
there's multiple.
yours.
There's ones like the interviews. There's ones but I covered that case extensively here on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only thing that I knew of was this guy did this to his family, and that was it. Like I knew nothing else.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty invested in, you know, I mean, thank God for her friend,
Yeah.
because her friend was like, something is wrong right now. Wasn't a
It
day
was about
later.
three of them, three of the friends together. Like I mean, Nicole was there, but there, Cassie and Addie and they were on the phone saying that you got to get the They were all saying this is something's wrong here. But I do believe that his whole problem was the phone tripped him up. But he thinks he was smarter than he was, because if he would have thought about it, he could have taken his phone and contacted them, and because he knew their husbands and stuff like that. Well, not I know the other two he did, but he could have had one of them send the message to everybody else and say, "Oh, I dropped my phone in the toilet. I can't even power it on. I'm using Chris's phone, right? But I'm not feeling good today."
But you know something? I don't think that's why I'm saying, like, I I think the girlfriend at the time, she wanted to be number one.
Yeah, but you're not
And
getting what I'm saying. He got caught because they couldn't get a hold of her. And so he got tripped up because he was probably going to text them with her phone and say, "I don't feel good today, guys. I'm going to lay down. I'll call you later on tonight." So
yeah,
that they wouldn't be calling her and wondering why she's not answering.
yeah. And
And
honestly, he doesn't seem to be very smart to begin with. He doesn't seem like the type of man that can actually think for himself.
no, but
So,
yeah, I think he did think of to do that, but he couldn't think further than that, and he just shut the phone off and went to work.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's, I don't think that he could think for himself at all. I mean, where he got the idea of disposing them,
Well, I'll tell you
is
why. Because you don't know why.
no.
Because if you listen to him in the interview, he says to them, "I really hope people are not going to judge me on this one event." He wanted to be seen as a good guy. When they asked him how his coworkers would describe him, he he speaks verbatim. When he tells you what he took out of the house, he's got like his mind. He can see the words. He just repeats them verbatim. "I grab my book bag. I grab my lunch bag. I grab my thermos. I the same way every time. Very few people speak like that. Like if you asked me, Megan, what did I do today? And I tell you, and then if somebody else asked me 10 minutes later, what did I do today? It's not going to be verbatim.
Yeah.
Even if I tell you the same things, there's going to be different words. I'm going to go because I don't speak like that, like a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but he speaks like a robot. When they said, "How did you put the girls to bed?" "Bring them up to bed, give them a bath, put their lotion on, put their sound machines on, get them in their pajamas, say goodnight to them, kiss them goodnight, tuck them in." Every single thing he says exactly the same way. And so he wanted, when they said, "What would your coworkers do?" They would say, "I'm this, that, and the other thing." And they called him the Gray Fox, and they also referred to him as like Rain Man, because he was like that. He had a photographic memory. He knew how to do everything like that. So yeah, they would talk about him like that. When he finally told them the kids were in those oil batteries, right? They said, "Do you want us to send one of your coworkers up there?" And he goes, "Oh no, don't do that." Because and he was just thinking, like, what is everybody going to think of me? That was his big thing. What is not that he killed his kids, not that he killed his wife, but it was, what was everybody going to think of him? Because everybody thought he was a really good guy. So he actually said, "I really hope people won't just judge me on this one event and that they'll think I'm a good guy again." So if he left his wife, who was 15 weeks pregnant, to go with someone he was having an affair with at work, that wasn't going to be a good guy, right?
No, definitely
No.
not.
But if his family vanished, if his family disappeared, he's a victim. Everybody's going to
Yes.
be bringing over a casserole. This is what he thought. Poor Chris, poor Chris, poor Chris, right? And then he'd keep his affair a secret for a while. And then I found love again. That's what he thought was going to happen.
You see, I just don't like, he seems like,
He wanted to
I
be a
think,
good guy.
I think that, somebody had said something about how, he was never really in a serious relationship,
No, he never had a
and the
girlfriend before
relationship,
Shan. No.
yeah, and he seemed to be the type that, you know, needs to be told what to do and needs to be, you know, like he needs a woman to basically, help him through life because I don't think that he can think for himself. So I think to myself, like, where did he get the idea of where he was going to put them? Because he really doesn't seem to be the type to think for himself. So, like, how did he think, well, this is where I'm going to put them?
No, he knew.
Because
He watched a
he
lot of
just seems
crime.
like he seems like too much of a simpleton to actually like have a a half-assed thought on his own. So
No, but he worked in those oil fields all the time. And
so basically all he knew.
yeah, but he changed his whole schedule that morning and told the other guy, "I'll go out there. I'll go out there and get there first and fix what's there." Because he knew he had to get them in there. And he brought gas cans with him, and they've asked him, "Why are those gas cans in there?" And so it was surmised that at some point, would he go back and set a fire and have an explosion there?
Oh
But
yeah.
he got caught so fast. It was ridiculous.
And the craziest thing is, he did the children first and she was already home. He was home with them all weekend, wasn't he?
Hmm.
So why would he wait until she was home? Like my initial thought was like, because like I said, I mean, I knew nothing. So I was like, did she come home and find the children like that?
No,
And then
he's
of
changed his
course,
story, and he changed his story after Sherilyn Cadle too. And I tend not to believe. I do not believe that story. The second story where he says that they were alive in the back of that truck. I do not believe that. Not at all. That came
and
from Sherilyn
that's my
Cadle.
thing too.
That came
Like,
that came from Sherilyn Cadle.
I was thinking to myself, like, did she come home and her children were already dead because of him? And she found them and then he killed her and took all three because he was home with them all weekend by himself.
Hmm.
So I'm like, why would he
No, but
wait?
she FaceTimed and the grandparents FaceTimed with the kids. The kids went to a birthday party too
So they went to a birthday party that during that day.
during the
And
weekend.
then
Yeah,
she
the
was
kids
coming.
were accounted for. They were alive. They were accounted for up until Sunday night when they went to bed.
Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, like, did she come home at 2 o'clock in the morning and her children were already dead? You know?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that I will still believe that. And Sherilyn Cadle went and gave him a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and I think she put all that stuff in his head, and I think it's worse. Uh, the stuff he says about taking their lives at the oil field, and the stuff Bella says, and all that. And I think in his own crazy way, he thinks if that's worse than what he really did, that it's not that bad. It's
I think you're right.
psychologically,
I
it's something in his
absolutely
head,
think
I
you're right
think.
with that. I think you're right with that. Even more so because he is very easily like, and honestly, with as many stories as he's had and how quickly, he could say, yeah, 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 that's right, that's right. That's what happened, that's what happened. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even know what really happened anymore because he had said so many things. You know how they say liars, they get caught because they can't keep their story straight and their
Yeah.
story always changes. Well, his story's changed so many times. And then you have people say, well, could this possibly? Yeah, 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 that's what happened. So I wouldn't be surprised, maybe with the author, saying, feeding, 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 and then saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm like, there's definitely, I mean, absolutely. I, 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 I don't know how
Yeah.
there
Well,
had to have been some kind of red flags or something with him, you know. And then of course, they interview the childhood best friend, and oh well, they were having marital problems because she didn't get along with the family. And I'm like,
I
everything
know
seems to
that
go
was
back
all
to that.
influenced by Cindy Watts.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, it all goes back to,
That's
you
Cindy
know,
Watts. Did you see how glad she was? Like most parents wouldn't be glad if their son, who has two young children and a pregnant wife, says we're going to get divorced. And Cindy's like, yes, yes, he was finally seeing the light. She's so excited about it. Like, what kind
from a
of
woman who
mother
didn't
is
even
like that?
from a woman who didn't even attend their wedding.
Right.
I mean,
Didn't attend their
that's
wedding,
that's
didn't attend Cece's third birthday.
that's
Um,
somebody who has really big issues
yeah.
with, my little boy, has a wife now and is getting married and I don't like it.
Yeah, but it
Okay.
wasn't that Cindy was so close. He was close to Ronnie. He was close to Ronnie and the grandmother, the mother, because Cindy worked and the grandmother's the one that picked them up after school and everything. And he wasn't so close to the mother at all. In fact, he told the mother, don't even come to Colorado, just send dad. So he was not close to his mother, he was close to his father.
Yeah, his father really wasn't all that great either. I mean, I'm sorry, but having like absolutely zero
No,
reaction
and his
other than,
father, that was so weird. They said because he left for college, his father started doing cocaine. Just
well,
crazy.
maybe he still does it, and that's why he had no zero reaction as to, you know,
No,
hearing that.
I think he told the father exactly what happened because Nicole Kessinger called called the Watts.
Oh, I didn't know that either. I did not know that either.
Yeah, she called them.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, and you know about the oxycodone when she was pregnant, right?
That was when was that when they were in North Carolina and they went to the
That's
beach?
when he came to North Carolina, and then he gave her the drink of her water with something, and she got so horribly ill. She was vomiting and vomiting and vomiting, and he could care less. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
And she was so sick. And what, it seems to be that he tried to do that to try to make her have a miscarriage. But she
That is,
didn't. Uh oh. And then she found out it was a boy.
and you would think that,
No,
any
because
other
then
would have accepted,
Nicole
but
Kessinger wanted to have first with him. And so now that took away everything.
yeah, her interviews did not sit well with me. Even my husband looked at me like, "What? Are
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me? Like, this woman knows what the guy did." And then is it true that she was okay? Is it true that she was looking up Shanann even before she started working with Chris?
Yeah, that's what I told you a year before. And at first they said, oh, that it was a mistake. And then the discovery said, no, it wasn't a mistake. Those dates are right. And she was the one that sent him emails about she handled like the meters and stuff that they used and all of that stuff. And then she started to see what he liked, and you can go to this movie, you can go to this auto museum, or trying to do all that stuff and clean eating, and she all this stuff that she was doing for fitness. And
So how did she know Shanann to be looking her up before she even started with Chris?
because I guess she knew him, she found out about him, and then just started to look up who his wife was.
And then it said that she was, looking to see how much Amber Fry made with her book deals and all of that
Right,
stuff.
right, and searching for
That was
wedding
true.
dresses and stuff like that. Yep.
You see, and
But
that
she's not
just
an Amber Fry. She's not Amber Fry. Because Amber Fry didn't know that Scott Peterson was married. She didn't know anything like that. Amber Fry did not. And then Amber Fry, the minute she found out about it, right away helped them with the calls and everything, and she felt terrible about it. But Nicole Kessinger is not an Amber Fry.
no, but you see the part that she was looking her up before she actually got together with
She
Chris
wanted
just
her life.
freaks
She
me out.
wanted her life.
That is like that freaks me out, you know? And like my husband and I were sitting and watching her, and I'm like, that's just, I mean, there's no sane, logical woman in, in my opinion, of course, that would actually go ahead and act the way that she did while talking to the police, knowing what her boyfriend just did. Like my husband was like, wouldn't you be just absolutely beside yourself, like just sick? And she's like, oh, well, I just deleted our messages and, I just
Oh, well,
deleted.
no. Her father and her did a social media and everything damage control and cleanup.
I mean, that whole thing there, I'm like, there is no sane, logical woman who would react that way, you know, knowing what their boyfriend just did to his whole family.
Yeah.
Like her behavior was so off. Just as off as his, you know, in my opinion. Watching her, I'm like, there's 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 nothing logical with her. I'm like, there hearing her talk about what she knows and who she's been sleeping with and knowing what he did, I'm like,
Yeah, but
nobody would behave
there's a
like
lot of
this.
women like that, and they think like, oh, just like this other au pair.
You
Okay,
see, I haven't been following that one. I've been
she
following
knows that
the
he killed his wife, and then she got and stayed right in the bedroom with him. Moved into the master bedroom. Some people like that go, oh wow, he killed his wife for me, and they're not
you know,
thinking that he killed his wife, but they're thinking he killed his wife for me. It's crazy.
yeah, no, I mean there's definitely something's missing. There's something off, you know,
Oh
Hey, you
yeah,
guys,
with
I'm
that.
there's
gonna,
yeah yeah there's something off.
sorry to interrupt, Carolyn, Megan, I'm gonna, go to bed,
Okay,
but,
good night, Denise.
it was good talking with you guys. You guys have a good
Okay,
night.
you too. Good night.
Night.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
all there, but there's many of them. Look at have you ever studied Patrick Frazie's case?
Nope.
He had one of his exes who was married and living in what was it, Idaho? She was living in Idaho. Go all the way down to Colorado. She was a nurse too. 3 times to try to kill the mother of his baby, who was a pilot, Kelsey Barrett. And one time she was supposed to go with a poisoned Starbucks coffee, and she told him I couldn't go through with it. She got to the door or something. Next time she was supposed to take a pipe, and even his mother seemed to be involved in this, and hit her. And no, then he just said, "Fine, I'll do it." And his claim was that he went over there and they had like a 1-year-old daughter at the time, and he put her in a playpen, and he said, "Here, put this sweater over your head. I have a surprise. Smell these candles, and I want you to tell me if you could tell me what scent they are." And so this is his version of it. I don't believe it happened like this either. And allegedly she's smelling the candles, and he just beats her over the head with a baseball bat. Okay, and then she's saying, "Stop, please stop," and then he beats the hell out of her, kills her, right? Then calls that other woman who he's a rodeo guy, okay, and he trains these dogs. You can find him on YouTube. He's still got his dog training videos out there. He met her. She used to be a rodeo queen, but she was married and had like 3 kids with this other guy. And he said she was in Vegas at the time with her friends, and he said something to her like, "Well, you couldn't do what you had to do, so I did it, and you got a mess to clean up." And she went over there and cleaned up the entire crime scene.
Oh my goodness.
And he burned her body. They found like a fragment of a tooth and something, but they found out that she cleaned up that crime scene, and then she lied because there were a few drops of blood on the like a fireplace screen that she missed. She goes, "Oh, I intentionally left those there so that you would find out that he did this." It's not true. But
Oh
anyway,
no.
they made a deal with the devil. That's what the prosecutor said. So they made a deal with her. She got like 3 years in prison, and I think she only ended up doing 18 months. And he's away for life because she testified in the trial. But that's another case. She cleaned it
Nope.
up.
I did not hear about that one.
Yeah, I have it all. I have it all here too. There's a lot that kill their wives, and they have somebody else that either is standing by, waiting, or helps them clean up and stuff. But this one here
And
was
then,
he wanted her to kill her.
yeah, he wanted her to do it. Mm-hmm. And then you say to yourself, you know, you can always run away or you can get a divorce and just leave, you
Well,
know?
and he didn't need a divorce. He wasn't even married.
Yeah, well,
But he wanted
I'll,
that baby, and he didn't want to pay child support, and he wanted that baby, and so that's why he did it. And his mother was like really domineering and stuff in the whole thing too. So he thought he was going to get away. He always said, "No body, no crime." He told the people, "No body, no crime," and he almost got completely rid of her body. He just burned it and burned it. They had a big ranch, and he burned her and like he just kept adding gasoline. And people said the fire was so big, but they found a remnant of like a tooth, and they found one of her teeth in her townhouse, like in the wood somewhere, and so they knew she was killed. And then they had the other one, Crystal Penny. That was the old girlfriend. They had her testify and what she cleaned up and everything, and the whole plan that he wanted to kill her, and they got him.
it is just absolutely unbelievable.
There's a lot, and that was another one in Colorado, and that was right around the time of Chris Watts. It was right after he took his plea deal. That's when that happened. We were right at the same time.
You see, I was so lost as far as Chris Watts went. I didn't even know what state it happened in. Like
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea, nothing. And I
Colorado,
mean,
and then they have the other one that Peterson, the one where the wife fell down the steps and died.
nope,
You don't know that one either. Yeah,
no.
that Michael Peterson, and there's so many that just do this stuff. He had other things he was hiding from his wife about his sexuality and stuff, and he might have even killed someone else when they were in Germany. But there's a documentary about that one. It's called the Staircase on Netflix. So that's a very good documentary on that one. And
Gosh.
yeah,
I
but
did follow I did follow Scott Peterson. I did follow that one. Um
yeah,
because
and
I mean
people
she was
people
missing for
think
a
he's
while.
innocent, which is just crazy.
That gets me also. People think that he's innocent, you
There's always
know.
yeah.
I remember when he dyed his hair blonde.
Him, and then you've got Chris Coleman, who the one that worked for Joyce Meyer.
I didn't
He,
hear about that one either.
yeah, I have it on this channel, and I did a rewind on him not long ago, like a few months ago. But yeah, he worked for Joyce Meyer Ministries, and then his wife told him, when you go down to Florida, go look up my friend from high school, right? Because she's there and she's going to go to the Joyce Meyer thing. Well, he not only looked her up, he started having an affair with her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then they wanted to get married, and he said, Joyce Meyer won't let you have a divorce or something, and he's got a great job. So he did like a helter skelter in his house and put all kinds of stuff, red writing, all this horrible things about his wife, and he killed them all. And then he went to the gym, and then he told his neighbor, who's a detective, "Hey, I can't reach my wife. Could you go over there and check?" And they were, of course, all dead. And yeah, and then there was another Chris. That was Chris Coleman, and then Chris Longo. He took his 3 little kids and put them in suitcases and threw them in the river.
Oh, goodness.
And then he killed his wife too, and
Oh,
threw
Lord.
her in the river. And then he went to Mexico. They did a 20/20 on him. Then he got all the way to Mexico, and they found him in Mexico.
I told my husband, I said, if you think I'm bad while I'm alive, I'm like, you ever get a girlfriend, decide to off me? I'm like, you'll have no idea what's coming because I will haunt you every second for the rest of your life. And he's like, trust me. He's like, I don't want any of that. I'm like, you know,
Mm.
I just, I saw the one that I was watching today. Towards the end of it, it gave an update on the detectives, and it said that the one detective,
Baumhauer.
yeah,
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, it broke him.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, that's the one that I watched today. It said that he has very bad PTSD, and it's just easier to not leave the house because he can't go anywhere, and because if he sees a little girl, then that's it for him. So, but he said it's just easier to not leave the house, and I'm like, that's just. I'm sure that happens to a lot of detectives.
Well, it was horrendous what he put them through because taking those little girls out of the oil tanks, it was that's like Tammy said. Like what do you think we saw? What do you think we had to see, Chris? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to see that. I'm so sorry.
You see, and I never got to that part. I never got to that part where they said that to him.
Well,
What do you think?
yeah, you can watch it here. It's on his confession. He's wearing a green like green, looks like green scrubs. I have it. It's
Yeah,
too crazy.
I haven't gotten that far. I didn't get to any phone calls. Um, but I just, like I said, I mean, I didn't even know what state it took place in. It was just,
Hmm.
you know,
Frederick, Colorado.
husband did this to his family, and that was all I knew.
Did you ever
So,
watch the murderer? What is it? Murderer Next Door on Netflix.
no.
That's what you should watch. That was made with the family. Hi, Amy. Have I looked into another story? What established her 80? Yes, 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 yes. Are you talking about the? Yeah, I looked into that, and now she's not competent to stand trial. Amy, she's going away to the psychiatric hospital.
Oh, who is?
This news anchor that stabbed her mother, who I believe her mother was also a psychologist, but she said she had to stab her mother in self-defense. Yep, Amy, I covered that, and I covered it again the other night because she's not competent to stand trial, and she's going to the psychiatric hospital. So, and they'll revisit prosecution. I don't know. I guess they'll test her in another year or something, but she's not competent. That's a crazy case. And then you've got the Stamping Up lady. She's going to go to trial in August to uh, conspiracy to kill her ex-husband with that's a mess. And then the other Corey Richins,
Oh, yes.
who poisoned the guy with the drink. A lot of Mormons coming up that murdered their spouses, women. Hmm. A lot of those
That
coming up.
Stampin' Up one should be fun, huh?
What? What'd you say? Can't hear you. I can't hear what you're saying. Something to be
Oh,
fun.
you're talking about me?
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Oh. Oh, I said that Stampin' Up one should be interesting.
Oh, yeah, very. And I wonder if she's going to take a plea at the last minute. I don't know because they have the death penalty out in there. And I don't know. but her, she's an entitled person, her mother and everybody, and a lot of the demonstrators who were doing Stamping Up, a lot of them gave it up because they don't know how involved the mother and father were with paying for this, and it made them sick that they were earning money for that company. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a gross thing, yeah. It's crazy. There's a lot of them. More and more, like every day. And I don't know, you're not going to get away with murder. I don't know, but they still think they are. And now you've got Morphew. Do you know Morphew?
Yes. Yes.
With the
I
tranquilizer
I
dart?
don't. Yes. Yes. I don't know. I don't know the full case, but yes, I
That's
do
another
know that one.
Colorado case.
Oh gosh, seriously?
Yeah. Yep. Remember the stepmother killer, her stepson out in Colorado. Which one? The stepmother killed the stepson. Wait, let me think, Amy. The stepmother killed the stepson out in Colorado. Stepmother killed the stepson out in Colorado. Tell me, Amy. Give me the name. What year? Stepmother killed the stepson out in Colorado. Stepmother. That one's. I'm blanking on that one. That's not the lady that had the horses, right? That went to the horse auction? No. Stepmother. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Letitia Stout. Gannon Stout. Have you followed that one?
I did not follow that one. I
Oh,
don't.
that's
I,
we have all coverage of that, including the whole trial here. Um, yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
is she the? Okay, I might have her confused with somebody else. Um, I probably do have her confused with somebody else. I don't know. I don't know what this woman's name is because honestly, they all run together. Um, there was one who, gosh, I think she actually, it's probably not the same. This woman actually, I think, worked in the court system or something like that, and she had a son. Well, I think she had a son or a stepson or something like that, and it was a younger one, and she like treated it horribly, and it ended up dying. But then she also had an older one who was kind of like an accomplice with her. Like they both mistreated and abused.
Yeah, that's not this one. This one, she married a guy that had two kids, girl and a boy. She had a daughter, older. They all moved into a house in Colorado, and then he was military, right? And he would go out of town a lot. He was for time, weeks or whatever at a time, and she was home with the kids, and then there were like Google searches, like that were really, how do you deal with if you don't like your stepkids and this and that, and she ended up that she killed the little boy, and she ended up that she put him in a suitcase, and she put him somewhere, hid him somewhere, and then the husband came home, and of course they're pleading, where is he? He's gone, he's missing, and it happened around the think it was like around Martin Luther King Day. It was like January of 2019, wasn't it? I believe it was 2019. And so everybody's looking for this kid because she said, he disappeared. He went to a friend's house and he never came home. Meanwhile, she has her daughter going to buy like all these cleaning supplies, and then there was like a fire and something with a candle, and she had a rental car. It just is so messed up. But anyway, they still didn't catch her, and she ended up that all of this fighting, she went with her daughter to Florida. Along the way, she picked that suitcase up and they threw it over a bridge in Florida. And it wasn't found until it was months later. Some highway worker found it. And then, she killed him. She shot him, stabbed him. She did like 3. It was like total overkill to him. And and then she had her trial. She was found guilty, and now she's in prison for the rest of her life. But she went to South Carolina. Then she went to South Carolina. She was arrested in South Carolina. That was her hometown, and the trial's pretty crazy too. Like her brother gets on there, and he just like starts screaming, like, "Why did you do this, Letitia?" Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
That was a crazy case. Yeah, there was a lot in that case. Brought the car to the car wash. There was like so much stuff. Then her interviews were all crazy, and then their phone calls that they played during the trial. It just it was just nuts.
I'm waiting to hear about what they're gonna do with that woman up in Massachusetts, I think it is.
Oh, the one that killed her
Billy.
3 kids?
Yep. I'm waiting to see how that one. I know that I don't know when it was. I think it was sometime last week.
Yeah, she wanted to go in. They said she had to go in an ambulance or something.
Well, they wanted her transported in a police car, and of course,
I thought
her
they said
attorney.
I thought they wanted an ambulance because she's in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah, her side wanted an ambulance, and their side wanted her transported in a police car. But apparently, her husband just filed a lawsuit against her psychiatrist and such because saying that they over medicated her, and that's what led to um, her killing her children, was that she was over medicated. So I think he filed that last week sometime.
I don't know.
That's just that's a crazy.
I mean, she had the wherewithal that she knew what restaurant to call for the takeout, the CVS to send him for the medication. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that one.
How much time was needed to do what she needed to do? I don't know.
I know that they had her she was in the hospital for 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she said she was feeling much better, and
Yeah, I don't know how that one's going to turn out. I'm kind of torn on it. I mean, I know what she did. Apparently, her husband knows what she did. Everybody knows what she did. But I think to myself, she was a nurse in labor and delivery, and how does that all happen?
yeah.
And then her husband worked from home.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if, that was the other thing. I need to look a little harder, but I wonder if he was working from home because she was unwell.
No,
No,
No.
he always worked from home.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's what I was like. I wonder if he was working from home because, you know,
No, that's why she had everything all planned out. She started asking him, what do you want to have for dinner? You want to go to this restaurant and get the takeout? And I need you to get this medication at this Walgreens or CVS, whichever it was. I forget, CVS or what. And sent him out of the way, found out like how many minutes and calculated that all.
yeah, you see, I think I'm torn because like I said, I know what she did, but at the same time I do know I know firsthand that, somebody who is absolutely mentally unwell can definitely go to the lengths of planning something time wise and everything because I've seen it firsthand. But it's it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
Well, she threw herself out the window too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just didn't you know, she lived. So she was going for one thing, but ended up with something totally different.
And then the
And
one that stole the baby in Texas.
no.
Megan Firamusco and Heidi. They stole the baby. They both went missing. Everybody kind of, well, the first person you're going to look at is the husband. And the
Mm-hmm.
husband had a little bit of a weird interview where he looked a little suspect. And a lot of people, including myself, thought he did it, because you're conditioned. It's the spouse, and the spouse looks a little strange and is not can't make eye contact and all this stuff during the interview and is acting weird. It ended up that one of her good friends had been faking her pregnancy all along to try to keep this guy, and she stole the baby and she killed the friend and put her in her trunk of her car.
Was that in Austin?
I think it was Austin, yeah. It was,
Okay, yeah. And then they had her. Oh no. Yeah, no, she went to the hospital, right? She went to the hospital, said I just had my baby, blah 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 blah,
no, I
on the
think
side
no,
of the
no, I
road.
think no. She came home and told the husband she went to not the husband. I don't think it was her husband. She went to a birthing center, and look, I just had a baby. She's on the bed. Go see her.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And how did they find her?
Because okay, everybody was looking. Okay, there was a major thing that they were both. Amy says Houston and San Antonio. Um, they were looking like crazy for where she could be because she had allegedly went to a book fair, and then they found out the surveillance, and they showed this friend picking her up, and her getting in the car with the baby and the diaper bag and everything, getting in her friend's car.
Oh wow.
And then they found out, okay, now the friend suddenly has a baby, and then they found out that she was in the car. That she was in the trunk of the car. She killed her and she put her in the trunk of the car.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Yep. And then there was that other one, the one that's on death row now, who cut the baby out of the mother. I think that was Texas too. She was the one that was trying to get to the hospital with her baby, but the baby was gone.
I think I remember
think
I
her
remember
Taylor. I think it was Taylor something. I think.
seeing a video of a woman in a hospital room. The They wanted to give her an exam
Oh, you're
because
talking. No, that's another one. That's
yeah,
yeah, that
because
is
she
the girl
supposedly
that
had a
did.
baby.
Nobody knew she was pregnant, and then she put it in the trash can.
No, no, this one they actually had the baby, but the woman said, I just gave birth, you know, everything was fine. Um, and they
Oh,
wanted to
are you
do
talking about the one that got from Craigslist and tried to
that's probably it. That
cut her
one, that one
baby
is
out
probably
and
it.
then went to the
She went
hospital
for- Yeah,
with the
yeah,
baby?
yep,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And her husband
yep,
helped or something, and
yes,
they killed both of them. The baby, and then the baby didn't get enough oxygen, and they tried to bring it to the
yes,
hospital, and it died.
yes,
Hmm.
yes. That's the one that I
She
saw.
went for
She
baby
was in.
clothes. She was
Yes,
pregnant. And she went to this lady's house for baby clothes.
yep. And then
Yeah.
they were interviewing her in the hospital, and she was refusing
Yeah, I covered that too. That
a
was
pelvic
2019.
exam. Yep,
And then
she
there's another
refused.
one, the cheerleader from Ohio, Skylar. She gave birth in her bathroom, buried her baby in her backyard. She got off.
She did get off.
Yep. She had like a dream legal team, and
I'm waiting to see what happens with the grand jury for Lakin Snelling.
in which one?
Lakin Snelling,
Right. Yeah.
the one in I think she's
Yeah.
Kentucky
Oh, yeah.
University.
Yeah. Yep.
Had her baby and put it in the
In the
closet and
closet.
went to class but skipped class and went to McDonald's. Yeah.
You were just
So
talking. Wait, you were just looking at that at Megan. Oh, which one? Which one, Amy? Which one were you just looking at? Do you want to call in, Amy, so it's easier for you to talk? Do you want me to send you the number so you can talk instead of having to text like that? Hiya, Heart Made Wise. Yeah, Megan Firamusco was the one that killed. You can't. Okay, was the one that killed the friend, and the friend was Heidi. I can't blank in on her last name. Which one were you looking at, Amy? The one that cut the baby out on from the Craigslist?
yeah, I think that's the one where they went in her
I think it
apartment.
was like Chicago or something, wasn't it? I think it was in Illinois or something. Yes, okay. Wasn't it in Illinois or something, Amy? Because there's the other one. I think she was in Texas too, where she
The
went
Heidi,
into the hospital, Chervino or something.
there was a Heidi Broussard.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was in Austin.
That's the one. That's the one with Megan Firamusco. Um, she's the one that
Yep.
killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but that other one, Trevino, she went in, had the baby, and put it in the trash can.
Wasn't that was a teenager, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but
Yeah, I
she
remember that
had the
one.
baby right there in the
In the hospital
yeah,
and
and
she
she
went to
put
the
it in the
bathroom.
trash can
Yeah.
in the room, like under a bag, like it was under a bag, like there was like a bag on top of it. It was crazy. nuts.
Yeah, Fear Musco strangled Broussard with a dog leash in Austin and drove the body along with the infant to her home in the Houston area. Baby was 3 weeks old.
Right. And what was the little girl's name?
Um, Margot.
Margot. Yeah, and she had another little boy about 5 years old because he was in school and she went to the book fair. You missed a post I sent 5 minutes ago, did I? Let me see. That's why I said you should be up here. Nami, have you looked? Okay, I looked into that one. I looked into the Anchor Woman, if that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, those people freak me out too. You know,
Which
I'm
one?
sorry. Like all these women who seek out pregnant women and or women with newborns, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Amy, yeah, I covered that extensively a few months ago. I went through all the discovery in that case where you were here, right? Isn't that the one you said you were, no, which one did you say you went down a rabbit hole? That was Sharilla, but of the spoiled kid who killed her parents, the mother was brutal. It was only the mother she killed. Oh no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Joel Guy Jr. Yeah, you know that case?
No.
Joel Guy Jr. I covered that one too. Joel Guy Jr. was like in college for like 7 years, and he was like a full time. That was his job, being a college student, right? And having mommy and daddy support him, and then mommy and daddy said, "No, we're not doing this anymore. You've been in college for like 7 years. Okay, it's enough already. You got to get a job. You got to do something." And so he went up to their house. He went shopping with his mother. And they have all the footage of Walmart and everything. And then he came home and he killed them both. And he put his mother's head in a pot. And he was boiling it on the stove. And he cut his father's hands off. And I think his head off. And he got caught, and then the investigators went in, and the pot was still on the stove with the mother's head in it.
Oh my goodness.
Joel Guy Jr.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joel Guy Jr. And the other kid is Chandler Halderson, and I just went over his case again for the second time. He burnt his parents up in his fireplace, and then he took his father's torso and brought it out to his girlfriend's farm. Then he got in a pool after he did that when the girlfriend's mother and partner were in there trying to wash off all this crap on him while they were in the pool. So gross. And that was because he flunked out of college and he made up a big lie that he was going to SpaceX, Elon Musk's SpaceX. He got hired there or something. He just made up these crazy lies, and then he was going to get caught in them, so he killed his parents.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yet the world is like, just such a wonderful place.
Covered a lot of cases. Oh my gosh, yeah. And then there was that crazy one with that airline pilot and the people next door. Remember that one, Amy? And then he killed those people next door and put them in a trap door, didn't he, in their house? That was a nutty case. Yeah. So many crazy people. then the other guy in Florida that killed his girlfriend, and he thought he was going to outsmart. You know how they all say, no, what am I looking for? They waive their right to a speedy trial. So they're guaranteed a speedy trial, okay? It has to be fast. But they most always waive their right to a speedy trial because they want their defense to be, have what it needs and everything. Well, this guy in Florida, after he killed his girlfriend, his whole thing was that if he had a speedy trial, he felt like the prosecution wasn't going to be able to get enough stuff against him. So
Oh.
he said he wanted a speedy trial. He was not going to waive his right to that. He wanted that speedy trial. And they found him guilty too. But that was his whole tactic. He thought, oh, I got this one now. I'm going to say I want my trial right away. And,
Well, he got what he wanted.
yeah, but he even said that was his tactic, that they weren't going to be ready.
I'm still stuck on somebody actually boiled
What
their
about
mother's
the guy
head.
that killed his parents over not letting him talk to his own girl? Oh yeah, Grant Amato. I have him on here too. I have all of his interviews and everything. Grant Amato got involved with way before OnlyFans. They had cam girls, and he fell in love with a freaking cam girl, and he spent something like over $200,000 on her. Okay, and he went into these chats. There were other guys in there too, and he killed his entire family because they told him no more money. So he killed his brother and his parents, his entire family. And then they found him really easily, and he's in prison for the rest of his life. He was in Florida. Yeah, Grant Amato.
My goodness.
That was nuts, yeah. Grant Amato.
Yeah, I know.
He was another one that led, he said he was a doctor. Remember that? Didn't he say he was a doctor, Heart-Made Wise, or something like that, in Virginia? And he was failing out of whatever the hell he was in, and he was never what he said he was. And then when you saw their house, they had all these, like one of them, I think it was the brother, collected like all those Funko Pop things and stuff. It's the Mommy Ramblings Friday night true crime trivia face down. Yeah, it's crazy how many cases we've covered. Trying to think of the. Oh, and then there's Megan Boswell. She killed her daughter, put her in a little shed in a garbage can, so she could go with this other guy. Told him she was pregnant, and then that all fell apart, and they found the baby, and she's in prison for the rest of her life now.
Yeah, that was on her father's property, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tommy Boswell, yeah. And then there was the other one down in Georgia. She had 3 kids. She murdered the little boy, and then he was put in a landfill. It's nuts, and she
Quentin
went away
Simon.
too.
That's Quentin Simon.
Yeah, Quentin Simon.
Yep.
And Lalani is her name. Yeah, Lalani.
Why, Lonnie?
Yeah, she's gone.
So she does his lie.
She's gone. Gabby Petito, you follow that one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Followed that one.
he's dead.
Yeah. His parents helped that one.
That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Unreal.
Which other one did we do? There was that whole Sophie Long craziness with that girl who was screaming, and the father's like, she's being abused so badly, she's being gang hard by, there's nothing I can do. And I'm like, I knew the guy was lying. Oh my gosh. Michael Long.
I don't know anything about that one.
That was a nutty time on YouTube too. That was a really nutty time, and he was getting with all these YouTube creators, including this one guy that faked his death. Oh my gosh.
A YouTube creator who did that?
Who befriended the father of that little girl and came over here and started harassing me because I said that guy was full of crap. It just is not true, and I ended up being right. And but that guy was like a Looney Tunes, and he went on like just tried to lie about me, say all this crap about me, act like he was this big YouTuber. He had just started a channel, but he followed this guy, umbrella guy, and he thought he was this guy, and he thought he was like a guy you call a bluffone, and his girlfriend started to come on, and she wanted all this stuff, and he just started to befriend some of these creators and go against me and just befriend this guy and say this guy's telling the truth. Well, it came out the guy's not telling the truth, and when that all went down, all of a sudden someone comes in my thing and goes, "Did you hear Truthy? He's not alive anymore." And I'm like, yeah, I don't believe it. I'll look at that. And it was all a lie. That's what he had to do. He had to fake his death, and then even the people that befriended him called him a coward and this and that, and he could never show his face. He's probably here under another name, but yeah.
Wow. The lengths
Truthy
some people
Magoo.
go. Amazing.
Truthy. With a name like Truthy, you've got to be telling the truth. Yeah.
Faking your own death.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He just wanted to get custody of his daughter, Hart, and I don't know. He wanted like fame, and too, like he thought people were going to take his story and they're going to make a movie out of it. And he was, remember, he got her one of those Scottish fold cats, or everybody did that donated money, and then he was making a song and a video, wasn't he, Hart, with her? It was that was weird. He was that guy. I'm sorry. Yeah. There was a vibe coming from him that was not okay, in my opinion. Yeah, that was crazy.
That definitely sounds crazy.
Yep. And
The lengths people will go to.
yeah, exactly. Part, yeah, that was so crazy.
And then pop back up alive.
Yeah, no, he's never come back on here.
Oh, he hasn't.
Oh, not in that name, not because even the people that had befriended him were furious with him for doing that.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. The dad who drove around in a car or with his 6. Oh yeah, Tim Jones. Yeah, that was something. And Amber Jones, his ex-wife, came on here before the trial. He killed his 5 kids, drove around with them in the van
Lord.
in Georgia. What?
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that one.
That was some trial, and that prosecutor was so good. He made you know every one of those kids, and oh my gosh, his closing arguments were just unbelievable. But he got the death penalty. They tried to say he was schizophrenic, and he got the death penalty. He's in South Carolina. They haven't put him to death yet. That was something else.
And when was this?
When he did this, or his trial was in 2019, and it happened years. It was some years before. It took a while to get to trial. And then the other one, that, remember the one too around the same time? Oh gosh, there were a few. Remember the one, the cousins or something that were married and put that little baby in a duffel bag and brought her out to the woods, and the guy had the tattoos on, the tears and stuff. Remember that one? That was with an S. Or the other couple, there were so many right around the same time. They took their baby, and it was a baby they had later in life, and threw it in a well on their property. It was only a few months old.
Oh my goodness.
They threw it in a well on on their property. That one, and then the one that put her in the duffel bag, the little girl. What about the one, oh yeah, in New Hampshire, the ones that they kept moving the girl? They put her in the ceiling tiles, and they had her in a refrigerator at one point. They were homeless. They were heroin addicts. Did you say the dad? Okay, yeah, that was Timothy Jones. Yeah, the duffel bag one where they were actually cousins that were married, wasn't it? And they were tried together. I think it was in Alabama, Louisiana, something like that. And I think their last name was with an S. And then, trying to think. Last name was with an S, I'm pretty sure. That was 2019 too. And then the other one that was 2019 is like these two foster sisters that were friends, and then one wanted to get the other one back. I forget how she did it, so she somehow got custody of her two little girls, and she killed one of them. She abused her until she died, and then the little girl had to take the stand. Remember that one? You remember all those cases and watch them on your channel. I am really just trying to stump you. Oh no. Yeah, here. So, yeah, like,
The
do
one
you
in New
remember,
Hampshire was
Amy, do you remember what her name was? What the ones with the duffel bag? I think it began with an S.
the one in New Hampshire,
Haley, right? Is it Haley?
Harmony Montgomery, Adam
Yeah.
Montgomery. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't even
And
show
we
up
had
to
her,
court for, um,
and the girlfriend was there
yeah,
because
and
they were
she
looking
had
for
something to
car.
do with it, and she got off too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then of course Severs, who killed his wife, Dr. Teresa Severs, that was a big one. There were so many big cases in like 2019. It was crazy. We went from one trial to the next. Um, then there was Robert Durst. That guy, they never found out what happened to his first wife, but then he killed that friend of his in Beverly Hills, and then he was in the Jinx documentary, and he there was an open mic, and he said he killed them all. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. The guy killed another man in Texas, the guy that lived next door to him, and then put his body in the Galveston Bay. Oh my gosh. The Tinder date gone wrong. Shaquille O'Neal, the Tinder date gone wrong. Which one? Let me see. A Tinder date gone wrong? Which one was that? Tinder date gone wrong. And Robert Durst got arrested for stealing a sandwich out of Wegmans, the supermarket. Oh my gosh. That's what he got arrested. He did all of his murders, and his first wife, they've never found her. Okay, never. Oh my gosh. But he got arrested for taking a sandwich.
Yeah, I remember the Harmony one. And her stepbrother, her half brother was adopted by that couple, and they wanted to adopt her too, but the father took her. It's so horrible. Yeah, she was in a bag in the ceiling tiles, and first she was in the trunk, then she was in in the ceiling tiles, and
Yeah, in a duffel bag, and then she was in a
yeah,
bathtub where he dismembered her, and then, but she was in a freezer or refrigerator before that.
yeah, it was like a cooler or
Yeah,
something, wasn't it?
that was a cooler too, but there was also a refrigerator in some apartment they came by and took later. Christopher McNabb for the duffel bag. Yeah, yeah, is that what it was? And Kayla. Yeah, Christopher McNabb. Yeah, the McNabb trial. Crazy. And then there's so many. No, I mean, this
It's
au
too
pair
many.
one is ridiculous.
It's too many. It's too many.
Oh, and
Oh,
where's the other one? Somebody else in Colorado. Oh, that other one, uh, Maya Miliete, Larry Miliete. What the heck is going on with him? And they never found Maya's body, right? That was crazy. That's a crazy case out of California. That Morphew. Um,
it's like the Jake Haro from California.
yeah, but did he had pled guilty, and what did she plead now? Did she plead
You
guilty
know,
at her hearing?
I don't know. I know that she was expected in court sometime. I think it was this month.
Yeah, I thought it was the other day. Hold on, let me see what happened to him. So I heard. Let me see.
I mean, I don't understand how it is that she was pleading not guilty to begin with. I mean, she was the one who was in the parking lot saying somebody stole her kid.
Jake Haro was sentenced 25 to life. Okay, that was November 3rd. Baby Emmanuel's mother's pleads not guilty. That was October 31st. 3 days ago. Okay, here she appeared in court. Let's see. Rebecca Haro appeared in the Riverside County Court on Wednesday and is facing charges of murder and filing a false police report. Lawyers discussed details of her impending trial in which she has pled not guilty. This is the largest development in the case that gained attention last summer. Let's see. No trial date was set, but another hearing is scheduled for March 26th. So she's not taking a plea. She's going to keep going to trial for now.
Yeah. And after what he did to his other two children, 25 to life doesn't seem like all that much to me.
No, and then
Even more so, since like where is the child? Where's the baby? I think that they should have to disclose where they put the child.
oh yeah, and then Ellen Greenberg, they're hopefully going to open that up again because. And Darlie Routier. That's another one. She's on death row in Texas. Many cases. But what about that one in Florida that she said the husband went on a fishing trip, but they killed him I think they fed him to alligators, remember? And then the best friend had the affair with the wife. Oh, and then the corn rake guy. What about that murder? The corn rake murder. That was, oh my gosh. That was a crazy case. Mullins.
I never heard of that one either.
Oh my gosh. And the 911 call, and he says, like, go to H, you cheating whore. And they're like, what did you say? And they're like, no, that's not what he said. And now then he tried to appeal it again. We went through it again like a year ago. And so did Severs. And I don't think, let me see, what did they decide with Mullins? Did they ever decide something on his appeal? We all knew what a corn rake was.
I wonder if we put Jen to sleep.
Oh, it was April. It was in April that Mullins' attorney reveals alleged mistakes. Now, but did they ever come to the decision on that? I know Frilly said something about that. Judge's decision. It's ongoing. Fighting to get a State versus Mullins. Case updates. Todd Mullins and his wife Amy Mullins. Let's see. May 7th. Wants a new trial. Okay. They not decided on it yet? That's a long time to...
I was looking up to see what a corn rake was.
Oh. Ugh.
Does not look fun.
No.
Okay, I'll just say that.
No.
I'll say no, thank you.
Canero, Kevin Ellis. I wanted to look into that one. That's a crazy one. The Kevin Ellis, the family's involved in that one. Somebody also said that the West trial that was just going on is a pretty crazy family too. Then you got Kelsey Fitzsimmons, Corey Richins. Oh, then of course Alex Murdaugh. We did that. Courtney Clenny, the influencer that's got the boyfriend. So many of them.
I'm so far behind in the Paul Canero case.
Yeah, I am too, but everybody's saying like, they're saying that parts of it are so boring, like it's dragging on so long, and how it's going to be that long, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely his side that is just very, very boring, very repetitive. It really is like they're grasping at straws, hoping that, they're going to pull the longest.
Yeah. I wish that, what do I wish that? I'm surprised that, I don't wish that. I'm surprised that not more people are not watching Banfield, because I just think it's much more interesting than
The op-ed.
yeah. I mean, like, not what the defense has done the last 2 days, but because it's like I don't get it because how could you? What father would bring his daughter into that house? And I don't care. Like, what the heck? I just don't understand who would bring their daughter into that house at all. Now that trumps everything for me. That I don't care who made the account or whatever. It trumps it all.
Well, I mean, logic is lost on many people. So,
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
welcome back, Debbie. We can't hear you
Being
though.
single isn't so bad, Shaquille said. Well, if you're with the wrong person, yes, being single would be better, right? They had an update on the murder of the woman who got shot. Oh, that yard sale
Hey,
thing.
Karen.
That is crazy.
Debbie.
Out of
We can't hear you though.
single isn't so bad, Shaquille said. Well, if you're with the wrong person, yes, being single would be better, right? Let's see here. So good. So don't know what it was. Really? Let me look it up because that one they kept saying an arrest was imminent. That was like 5 years ago. The garage sale. That is a weird one they can't solve. That was in Tomball, Texas, wasn't it? Let's see. The Elizabeth Barraza. January 28. No, how could it be? Oh, that's 2025. Father's dying wish renews urgency in unsolved 2019 murder. The 29-year-old was shot and killed the morning of, where are we? The morning of January 25th, 2019. Oh, we're almost coming on today's the anniversary, right? Today's the 25th. Outside her home on Cedar Walk Drive near Tomball. She was setting up for a garage sale. Her parents, Rosemary and Ron Bob Newell, have spent years pleading for information in a case that continues to frustrate investigators. As the anniversary approaches, that plea has taken a new urgency. I could be around for a couple of years or a couple of months, Bob said. It's in God's hands. Bob Newell was diagnosed last year with stage 4 esophageal cancer that has spread to his liver, lungs, lymph nodes, femur, oh my gosh, spine. He says he has lost 150 pounds and relies on a feeding tube. The difference in his appearance is stunning. During an interview with ABC 13, Bob wore the same T-shirt he wore at Liz's vigil 7 years ago, and now it swallows him. Despite his declining health, the Newells say their determination to find justice for their daughter has only intensified. We want people to see the bar is raised. There is a sense of urgency. I have a sense of urgency. Investigators believe Liz's murder was carefully planned. The suspect, who was disguised, waited for Liz's husband to leave for work before opening fire with a revolver, a weapon that does not eject shell casings. Nothing was stolen, and there was no clear motive. Liz's family believes it may have been a targeted killing, but she has no known enemies. She was a member of the Star Wars charity group and was well liked. Several cameras in the neighborhood, including the Barrazas, captured a dark-colored Nissan Frontier, believed to be the suspects. The video was widely released. Still no arrests have been made. The case is very active. Harris County Sheriff's Office, Michael Ritchie said, we do have evidence left at the scene. Technology is getting better. Ritchie says someone knows something. There's a $50,000 Crime Stoppers reward for Bob Neville. His wish is simple. If you ever need to pull on your heartstrings, a 67-year-old man dying and not knowing who shot his daughter, he said, I'm hoping this makes it hard to keep their silence. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers. 713-222-TIPS. Wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what it is, Amy. But I just don't know why they didn't go to the DMV and get. They said there weren't many Nissan Frontiers, so why didn't they just go and get all the registrations on them that year and that color, whatever in there? I don't know. That whole case is so bizarre. Seems like somebody arranged it, so I don't know.
Always look at the husband first.
That's what they always do. They
Uh-huh.
always do. They always look at the spouse's or its girlfriend,
Husband,
boyfriend.
husband left for work, and what happened after?
Someone came and killed her. And
Hmm.
they were in these Star Wars groups, like um, those Comic-Con things where they dressed up and stuff. Maybe they did. They normally would, right? I don't know. It's this whole case is so weird.
Well,
Snow coming, like you.
had to be somebody that knew she was having a yard sale and that she would be up and outside that time of morning.
Yeah,
And what time her husband left.
yeah. That's why it seems like it was
Mm-hmm.
orchestrated. I don't know, but I forget. The husband was like, I think he was standing by, and
I thought he had left for work.
yeah, he did. He had left for work, but I mean, that he's been like, I think he's been around like this whole time waiting for somebody to be arrested, but I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah.
So strange. Strange. Hmm. No, how'd they know she'd be outside for the garage sale, Hart? They just came out, just shot her, and then got back in the truck and left. And they, why would somebody just go do that? Just if it wasn't, I don't know.
Nothing was stolen.
No. And she had, like, if I'm not mistaken, she had a cash box out there with, like, a bunch of stuff to make change, and there's a video of it, it's just crazy.
Still can't believe somebody boiled their mother's head.
Oh, yeah. Joel Guy Jr. And he is just, that was so strange because that was like, I think during COVID or something, or he was spitting. He had to wear like I forget what it was, which one it was, but he had to wear a clear face thing,
Oh, a spit shield?
Yeah, I think it was because, I don't know if it was because he was doing that or it was during COVID. I'm trying to remember. All I know is he had that thing on with like a
It was
little
probably
visor.
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
spit shield.
Oh, that's like Shabusiness. The one that she's really bad in court and stuff. She does like a lot of really bad stuff, and they have her like basically like in the on the hand truck now. Like they brought Hannibal Lecter in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's
Who is
basically
that?
what she is because she's done so many things. She's like attacked her own attorney and she spits and oh gosh, she has to wear like a hood and everything. She's just disgusting.
And what did she do?
Shabusiness is the one, isn't she the one that dismembered the, isn't she the one that cut her boyfriend's head off and put his thing in something else and while his mother was home and something, Shabusiness?
Oh, that was the ex-boyfriend. She like got together with the ex-boyfriend. He had a room in
In
his
the
mom's
basement,
basement or
in his mother's
something.
basement. Yeah, and then she put his, I think she chopped his head off and then his
Oh my
stuff.
goodness. I heard about the story, but I never, I never went any deeper than just hearing
Yeah,
about it.
Shabusiness. Yeah. Oh, and then you've got also Heifer, uh, not
God.
Rex, the Gilgo Beach guy. The Gilgo Beach, the architect that they said is the Gilgo Beach
Rex Heuerman?
Hewerman. Yeah. Why am I saying Heffernan? Hewerman.
I've followed that case, of course.
Yeah. Now they said that he's trying to get the case dismissed.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, they
That's
knew that was coming for a long time.
that's not going to happen.
No,
Not going to happen.
no, but they knew that that was coming for a long, long, long time.
But all the stuff that he did in his basement, and his wife and everybody living there, and
Yeah.
how does that happen? How does that
His wife
happen
was
and you're living there
convinced.
and you don't know what the hell's going on in your basement?
Well, I'll give you a little tip here. Well, not a tip, but he lived 2 blocks away from my sister,
Really?
and yeah, and my niece went to school with his daughter, and she's actually been in that house
Ugh.
when she was younger.
And did she say anything is weird about it?
No, she only I think she only went over once, but she was in that house and we lived like my sister lived there for gosh, I don't even know how many years. She only just left Massapequa 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but he lived 2 blocks away from my sister. And I'm like, oh Lordy.
Gross.
Basically right in you're in your own backyard. And your daughter's been in that house.
Yeah, I know. It's just that's bizarre. And she how old was she? Was the daughter her the daughter's age? I wonder because I don't know if he because one of the girls he killed was by me. You know, I think she was from Ellenville, and
Yeah, he was very you notice, this he liked the small ones. He went for the short ones, even though he was ginormous.
but all that stuff down in the like what I forget what his wife did if she worked outside the home. But he worked, so when was he doing this? In the house, the stuff he did in the house.
I believe they said that the stuff that he did in the house was when his wife would go back to her own country to visit her family, or when she would go away and take the kids with her, is when he would do the stuff in the house. But I mean, really, who knows with that either? I mean, but that's what you know,
That I just don't understand how somebody keeps that a secret for that long and you don't pick up on anything.
I guess if you just don't.
But look at the BTK guy. He had a freaking kill kit, ha, in his hall closet on the top, right there. Like the wife never went in the hall closet and was like, "What is that duffel bag?" Or,
Right?
"Hey, who needs a duffel bag? Here, take this." You know, he had a freaking kill kit right in the hall closet.
Yeah. I think they said that, she would go away, you know, and take the kids with her. She would go, I don't know what country she's from, but she would go visit family. And I believe that they said that they noticed that when she was, away and out of the country is when he would do these things. So that's why there was kind of a lull in between.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they should have just listened to the one guy, who said, you know, he looked like a big scary guy and he was in this kind of truck and, I never saw her again. That one girl's roommate.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I mean, it was the truck. And it's funny because my sister moved from Mass, she moved from Massapequa
Mm-hmm.
down to South Carolina where Huerman's brother lived. So they went and searched his property and found the truck and everything else. But they said that he's a little bit on the odd side also. And his neighbors said the same thing. The brother is a little odd.
Yeah, and that reminds me. Remember that guy that locked that girl up in the storage container and he wrote reviews on Amazon about padlocks and stuff, and he was writing like comical reviews, and then they found out he had killed her boyfriend or something. That I think they went to go look at land or vice versa. I think he might have been a realtor, and then he killed the boyfriend and he had her locked up in like the trailer of a semi truck out in like some field somewhere.
Hmm.
And his mother, there was something about his mother, but he wrote these reviews on Amazon. What the heck? What his name was? He kind of reminds me of Rex, but let me see what.
I couldn't imagine meeting Rex Heuermann in a dark alley.
He looks huge.
I think he is huge.
Todd Colehep is the man who kidnapped a woman, Kayla Brown, held her inside a locked shipping container, a semi-trailer in South Carolina in 2016. Following his arrest, it was discovered that he wrote disturbing and sarcastic Amazon reviews for items like padlocks, shovels, joking about holding people captive and hiding bodies. And they all thought it was funny. They're not really. He held her captive for 2 months inside a metal shipping container on his property. Using the username me on Amazon, Colehep reviewed products he used, such as padlocks, writing, solid locks have a 5 on a have 5 on a shipping container, won't stop them, but sure will slow them down. In 2017, he pled guilty to 7 counts of murder, among other charges, and he was sentenced to multiple consecutive life sentences without parole. While often confused with other cases, the specific details of a kidnapper writing Amazon reviews about his crimes directly mentioned Todd Colehep. Yeah, it was Todd Colehep.
Wow, he was a brazen one.
I wonder where in South Carolina that was. Let me look. Greenville? He killed 7 people. Todd Colehep.
7
He tried to
people.
sell T-shirts with SKTK emblazoned, which stands for Serial Killer TK. Mentioned the state received through the Freedom of Information Act. He was also in communication with a producer about telling his story. Both are against South Carolina law that prohibits inmates from profiting from their crimes. Let's see here. He has since lost his tablet, visitation, and canteen privileges and has been moved to a more secure location.
He must not be a model prison citizen.
He was written a book. Crazy. That guy was nuts. Yeah, he was.
What did he do with all the 7 people that he killed?
I think he buried them on the. He owned a lot of property. That's what I think he posed as a. Let me see. Let's see. Todd Christopher Colehep, an American serial mass shooter, serial artist, animal abuser, and kidnapper who was convicted of murdering 7 people in Spartanburg County, South Carolina between 2003 and 2016. In addition, he kidnapped and marred at least 2 women and claims to have killed many more. Todd Christopher Sampsell was born March 7, 1971 in Florida and raised in South Carolina and Georgia. His parents divorced when he was 2 years old. His mother gained custody and married another man. Later psychological reports found that Colehep had an unhealthy relationship with his stepfather and often wanted to live with his biological father, who he had not seen in 8 years. Colehep was described as a troublesome child in nursery school. He was aggressive towards other kids and would destroy their property. At the age of 9, he started undergoing counseling. They described him as being explosive and preoccupied with sexual content. He also displayed cruelty to animals. Colehep's father later said the only emotion his son was capable of was anger and madness. Colehep spent 3.5 years in a Georgia psychiatric hospital as an inpatient because of his inability to get along with other children. Eventually, in 1983, he was sent to live with his biological father in Arizona, and his mother, after his mother and stepdad separated, he took his father's surname and began working a number of local jobs. He inherited his father's hobby of collecting weapons and was taught by him to blow up things and make bombs. Yeah, great. On November 25th of 1986, a 15-year-old Colehep kidnapped a 14-year-old Christy Granado in Tempe, Arizona. He threatened her with a .22 caliber revolver, then brought her back to his house, tied her up, taped her mouth shut, and marred her. Afterwards, he walked her home and threatened to kill her entire family if she told anyone. In 1987, he pled guilty to the kidnapping charge, and the other charges were dropped. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison and had to register as an sex offender. Then he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and an above-average IQ. The judge said he was very bright and should be advanced academically, but behaviorally and emotionally he was dangerous and likely could not be rehabilitated. His probation officer wrote a similar description and added that Kohlhepp felt the world owed him something. His attorney in the case later went on to say that when defending him, he did not believe his client would go on to do harm to others in the future. And during his imprisonment, Kohlhepp was initially cited for violations that included violent behavior after turning 20. However, there were no other records of disobedience. In 2001, he was released after serving 14 years, and he moved to South Carolina, where his mom was living. During his imprisonment, he attended and graduated from Central Arizona College with a bachelor's degree in computer science. From January of 2002 to November 2003, he worked as a graphic designer for a company in Spartanburg. He began studying at Greenville Technical College in 2003. He transferred to the University of South Carolina Upstate and graduated in 2008 with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration Marketing. Despite being a registered sex offender, he was able to get his real estate license on June 30th, 2006, after lying about the felony charge on his application. From there, he built a firm that had dozens of agents in its employ. He then was recognized as a top-selling agent in the Carolina region. The firm was closed down following his arrest. Kohlhepp also acquired a private pilot's license and several properties. See, that's what he did. He had several properties, and that's what these people went, the one he put in the shipping container. In March of 2014, he purchased nearly 100 acres.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he had plenty of land to do a lot of stuff on. What the heck happened to my thing now? He purchased 100 acres of land located in the area 9 miles from the community of Moore for $305,000. He then set up a fence which cost $80,000. A customer who sold her home to Kohlhepp remembered him as extremely outgoing and professional, but noted that he would often talk about his firearms and sometimes subtly use sexual innuendo in their conversations. Conversely, a woman who assisted one of his employees describes him as angry and condescending toward her partner. A banker who worked for Kohlhepp said he often watched pornographic videos, even at work. He frequented Waffle House in Roebuck, where his behavior disturbed the waitresses to the point where the male cook began to take Kohlhepp's orders. According to his employee, one of the waitresses, Megan Lee McCraw Coxey, one of Kohlhepp's victims. On November 6th of 2003, a customer found 2 people shot dead inside and 2 outside a Superbike Motorsports motorcycle shop in Chesney. The victims were identified as Scott Ponder, Brian Lucas, Chris Sherbert, and bookkeeper Beverly Guy, who is Ponder's mother. All 4 died from gunshot wounds. Before Kohlhepp confessed to the shootings in 2016, investigators believed the gunman entered the shop from the back and killed Sherbert as he worked, then killed Guy, and then Lucas at the main doorway and Ponder in the parking lot. 18 shell casings retained. Okay, so they didn't find that until after he killed Caleb Brown's. On August 31st, 2016, Kayla Brown and her boyfriend, Charles David Carver, 32, went missing after they went to remove brush from one of the properties. Carver was later found dead of multiple gunshot wounds. Let's see. On November 3rd, authorities found Brown chained to the wall inside a metal storage container on the property. Investigators had tracked her down after knowing the couple's last known cell phone signals. Brown said that she had seen Carver being shot by Kohlhepp. Kohlhepp's mother said Carver was killed for having a really smart mouth, which Kohlhepp did not like. Kohlhepp also said he had kept Brown captive because she didn't do anything wrong and he didn't want to hurt her. However, Brown told police just after her rescue that Kohlhepp had killed Carver because Kohlhepp was mad at her. Despite captivity, she was AR'd repeatedly and intimidated into not escaping after having been shown the graves of Kohlhepp's other victims. 2 bodies were discovered on his property. They were later identified as a husband and wife, Johnny Joe Coxey and Megan Lee McCraw Coxey, residents of Spartanburg, who were reported missing in 2015. Yeah, so, yeah, he was crazy. And then he wrote the Amazon reviews.
Wow. Gosh.
Yeah, craziness. Craziness. He was a huge braggart about his crimes and his confessions. It's wild, says Hart. Yeah. Nutter. And he's another really big guy. A lot like Rex. A lot like Rex. A lot like Rex.
Can you imagine if Rex gets off?
I don't see how he can. Yeah. I mean, they have so much on him.
Yeah, let's hope they didn't screw anything up.
I don't know. I don't know. How could, yeah. Seems like they got a lot. Just like Banfield, it really doesn't matter what the defense gets. You know, it's this one's account, it's that one's account. No father would take his kid in that house and then leave her downstairs and have the nanny follow him upstairs if he didn't know who it was, and that shows he set it up. It's dumb. Dumb.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get off.
No, yeah, it's just,
I worry about Long Island, police
yeah,
actually getting things right,
I think they've had a
I
lot of,
remember the whole, you know, um, Shannon Gilbert in South Carolina, not South Carolina, Suffolk County. I mean, that police department really screwed all of that up.
which case?
It was the only one that's not tied to Rex Heuermann, Shannon Gilbert, the one that was supposedly taken to the house by a driver and was knocking on doors saying help me and you know
Okay, that sounds,
she's the only one who's not tied to Rex Heuermann, but she's the one who started it all. But the Suffolk County Police Department they messed that up every single way that they could.
what do you,
And then they traced the gosh, what they call her, Peaches, the one with the baby. Part of her was found in Manorville, and then the other one was found where the rest of them were. But they tied her back to the baby's father, and he was arrested. So Heuermann didn't do her and the baby. But gosh, how many years later they tied her back to the baby's father, Tatiana, right?
I don't see, I didn't know if I went that far into his case yet that I,
That was just that happened more recent.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't-
she was unidentified for a long time, and then they finally figured out who she was and who the baby was, and that it was, the mother and the baby. And then they tied her disappearance and murder along with the babies to the baby's father. So he was arrested, not, I mean, I want to say within the past year or two. I mean, fairly recent.
the father of
Yeah.
the baby's father?
Yeah, the baby's father. I think the baby's name was Tatiana. She was in the army or something. And I think the father was in the military as well.
Hmm.
But her murder and the baby's murder was tied to the baby's father. So Rex Heuermann did not do that to them. But they definitely got him for murder.
Right. Hmm. What time is it? Wow, it's 3:46. How does that get so late already? How's your ice and snow?
Looks like it's starting to pick up again, the snow part.
You don't have much ice, or
Oh, we had the majority of it is ice. Um, it snowed probably from about 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on top of the ice. And then it stopped until about 11. It started again. Then it stopped probably about 1, and now it's starting to snow again.
yeah, I don't think our
So
snow is see, snow is coming.
we have about 5 inches right now of ice and snow on top of it. I had to go out to the store today, and when I was on my way back, I was looking at the power lines, and I'm like, let's just hope, because they're looking quite heavy and droopy.
Yeah, you have overhead lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so do we.
They're looking quite droopy because we've had nothing. I mean, since yesterday at about 2 in the afternoon, it's done nothing but sleet. It's just been ice.
Well, you're lucky because when we get ice, it's almost guaranteed we don't have power.
Yeah, when we were coming home, I was looking and I'm like those lines don't look very good. They look very droopy. But I will say they did a pretty good job this time around. You can actually see the plows out, and they didn't put ice down here. What they did was they put some kind of a brine down
Mm-hmm.
before it started. So, I mean, like the roads are still as white as anything. You're driving in one lane on a 4-lane road, just following like one track of tires. But but yeah, it just started to snow again. And I'm hoping that it stops. I think tomorrow our low is 0. which is better than what I saw because they were saying -4. And I'm like, I'd rather not have
normal
that.
temperature? Is that normal in the winter, or is this very strange?
You know what? It does happen about once a year. Um, it seems to be happening a little bit later. Normally it's around, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And then last year it was a little bit later than that. This year it's a little bit later than last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we will have a couple of days where, because the big thing here is that during the day, once the sun comes out, things do warm up. So it melts, but it doesn't go anywhere. So once the sun goes away and goes back in, everything just freezes again because once the sun goes away, the temperature drops. So it really is like living in the desert. In the summertime, it's just scalding hot all the time. And then when the sun goes away, you get a little bit of a break. In wintertime, if the sun is out,
Yeah.
it's bearable. But, in cases like this, we'll have ice for a week or more
Oh, yeah, drink right
because it won't warm up enough.
there. It's well, yeah. We usually get bad cold in January, February, but it's I don't know. They're playing. I guess because it's happening all across the United States. Like Gia got all nervous today. She's like, "Am I supposed to be nervous?" I'm like, "You don't have to be nervous. You live in the valley. You're gonna be fine. You're next to the rest. You're fine. Nothing's gonna happen to you. But it's But then she started to get all freaked out.
Well, you see, here you go to the store and it's like everywhere else, they have no bread, they have no cold cuts, they have no.
They were out. They weren't out of everything at the store tonight, but they were out of regular milk. They had almond milk still. They had half and half and stuff like that. But their milk shelves were gone.
I think it was
They still had
Thursday
bread.
night. Thursday night before it started Friday, we went to the store. There was no beef left, no chicken left.
Oh,
You know,
they
I'm
had
like,
all kinds of meat.
I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, there was no bread. I'm like, whatever, because to me it's like, we'll be fine because we have enough in the freezer.
The
So
chicken
it's
broth
really
that
good.
was like on sale was gone.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but there was other kinds of chicken broth if somebody needed that. There was most everything else was there. The strawberries were gone, but I got the blueberries, got the bananas, got the oranges, clementines, avocados.
Yeah.
That
They
was all
they
there.
ransacked they ransacked the canned aisle, which was like the canned soups
Well,
and
ShopRite has a can sale, and there was still stuff like
oh, you see,
dressing
yeah,
soup.
because up there they don't really panic like they do down here. Down here it was like I mean, people are making like TikTok and Facebook reels, about going into the grocery store in Lubbock, And I guess just from, I mean, I've lived in the Northeast most of my life, so it's not a big deal to me. We're gonna get some snow and, you know, we don't need
Yeah.
to panic buy everything. We have, I want to, I have a pack of chicken breast in the freezer and I just wanted to get another one, for another night's dinner and there wasn't any chicken breast. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait a few days because, everybody bought everyththing up today because they're panic buying.
Right. I
So,
don't know how the water was because we don't buy water. We have really good
oh
water
yeah,
here.
no, there was not a bottle of water to be found. So, you know, You go into the grocery store, you don't even have a shopping cart because there are so many people in the grocery store, with the shopping carts. So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah, when we went, there was like not many people there.
oh no, it was ridiculous here. Absolutely ridiculous.
But there were people
And like I
going in
said,
when we were leaving, so I think, but it was not very crowded, and
we actually went to Walmart and the local grocery store here, and both places were just so chaotic, and they didn't have anything,
well, my
and
son said
I'm not.
his college classes they're closing everything already on Monday.
I have a feeling that they're going to be closing here on Monday because this isn't supposed to stop now until about Monday morning, and Monday morning we're only supposed to be about 3 degrees when the
Yeah,
kids
that's what
go
he
to
said. I
school.
said, it's so weird. You live on campus. Why are they closing? And he said, well, Mom, it's going to be really, really cold. And you're expecting a lot of ice and all this stuff. And they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, and something here, they're not really big on closing schools. They close the schools at the last minute. So, I mean, we'll see what happens Monday morning, but it's supposed to be, I think at 9 o'clock Monday morning, the last time I looked, it was supposed to be 3 degrees. And this isn't going, and this ice and snow isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
Harvey
So,
Dilly. I'm telling her name. She goes, the boy who went down a chimney and got stuck and died there, and people praying and hurting for him just a block away. Yep. Harvey Dilly, right? Harley Dilly? Harley Dilly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we watched that in real time, Amy, right? That was crazy. A lot of people thought his parents did something. He was in a chimney. Oh my gosh.
goodness, I couldn't imagine.
He went to go down, get into a house. It was empty, right? Right by where he lived. He went to go down the chimney and got stuck and he died there. Everybody was looking for him.
I didn't hear about that one either.
Yeah, we watched that in real time unfolding. It's crazy.
I stopped watching the news when I lived in New York because every time it was on, there was always nothing but bad stuff. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to watch this. There is nothing good on here. So absolutely nothing good about the news.
Remember that little baby, Amy, that the mother, they thought, I don't know if they ever found her. She went in the river or something. Remember? That was in 2019 too, I think. Trying to remember. It was so weird. That case was crazy. There were so many people killing their babies.
And it seems like it's still an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Amy, did you remember the ones that went on trial when they put the baby in the well? That was down south too. I think it might be Georgia. Oh, wait a minute, Amy. Remember about the one? She got the death penalty. I don't know what happened to her. Her name was Tracy. Was it Moss? And she starved her. I don't know if it was a foster child or her real child, but she starved her. Remember in Georgia? She got the death penalty? Or South Carolina? That was 2019 too. And I
There are
remember another one
too
of
many
these
of those
girls.
parents also.
What?
I said there are too many of those parents also.
Oh yeah. A lot of them. There was just so many trials back then. There was like one after another. And I remember I was just like overwhelmed because I used to just take notebooks and just get all the everything that happened. Just there were so many. You remember them? Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember if her name was Tracy Moss or something like that. She wasn't executed either, and I don't remember seeing when I looked up the women on death row. I don't remember seeing her. I wonder if they did something with her sentence. Oh, and then the dentist, remember that? The one that just had his trial, he poisoned his wife with the smoothies. Another Mormon. And the cyanide he put in there. That was crazy. Then there was that other guy in Colorado. Gosh, I forget. Oh, and remember the Red Wing case, the Dylan Red Wing case? Or what about that guy, that little girl? They had her off on a trail. Remember they killed her and they put her off on the trail? I forget where that was. Or the other, oh my gosh, the guy that killed that little boy with the blonde hair. I think he was 9 years old or something. Trying to think. CPS was going there, but they missed the case. I think that was in Indiana or somewhere around there. There were so many. Oh my gosh. And then the other stepmother that killed the kid and said he slipped on water in the kitchen and hit his head, but she killed him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then the husband, remember that one that killed his wife and hit her in the crawl space? Oh my gosh, there's so many. It's just nuts. Covered a lot of cases. Oh my gosh. I remember the mother of the baby in the well. It was mother and father. Yeah, they both were on trial. Remember their son came, I think it was their older son, and he said the baby was all bruised the day before and then he was gone.
Oh, you know, the one that I was thinking of was uh was Shonda Vander Ark.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
one that I was thinking of earlier, where I said
Oh,
I think she worked in the courtroom and
yeah.
she had the older kid, when she was at work, torturing the
Right.
little.
And then, yeah, that, and then remember the one where the mother burned her heart? She was a younger girl or something, and the mother, I think somebody too, the stepfather, somebody, they had her on that fire, remember? They burned her in that fire. They started like a brush fire and put her on there.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that one. And then there, of course, there was Delphi with Libby and Abby.
Yes, I
And
did follow that.
Libby and Abby. Oh my gosh, there were so many. Lori Vallow, of course, um, with Tylee and JJ. so many. My gosh. But there was also the one. I think she was like developmentally disabled. Do you remember that? And there was a fire. And they put her. Fire. What was nutty? Yes, you remember? Okay. Trying to remember. So many. I think I want to go to bed. I am tired. All right. Well, it was interesting. We went through a lot of cases. Just watching stuff about the dentist today, really, from one of the homes showing the interactions, some of the things she went through. Oh, you're talking about that other the dentist in Ohio? Okay, yeah, that's another one. Wow.
Did you ever cover Holly Jeffcoat?
What's the first name?
Holly Jeffcoat,
Holly Jeffcoat.
HOLLI,
Where is it? Where was it? What state?
2016 Lubbock, Texas.
What happened? Tell me what happened.
Oh, it was a hairy one. Of course, CPS was involved. I believe she was developmentally disabled as well.
Oh, was that the one where she went into the
18
couch?
years old. No, she was 18 years old, special needs young woman who
Right.
was killed by her stepfather with her mother, later convicted for her role in the abuse and cover-up. February 10th, 2016, Holly Jeffcoat was found dead in a rural home near Idalou, Lubbock County, with multiple stab wounds and her throat cut. Abuse and pregnancy. Jeffcoat, who had the mental capacity of a 6 to 7-year-old, was found to be pregnant with her uterus removed after she was killed.
Yeah.
She had previously reported to school officials that her stepfather, James Holland, was sexually abusing her. The killers attempted to burn the body and home to cover up the crime.
Oh, the poisoner one. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to see what. Oh, okay. That's horrible. But I'm gonna go to bed.
Me too.
Yeah. I'll see you
Oh,
guys tomorrow. Love you. God
you're an
bless. Prayers and have a good night, everybody.
You're an hour ahead of me. You're going to be feeling it.
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired now. Really tired.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.